Here we are again. This is for section 2.2 of our textbook. Which has to do with organizing qualitative data. We have different tools for qualitative data and for quantitative data. The first, and this is one of the most important of all, is a frequency distribution for the qualitative data. Is something that we've all done a lot of times without having a 6 or 7 syllable expression to call it. Here we have, in categories, looks like Democrat, Republican, or other party affiliations of students that were in somebody's class once upon a time. This is what you would call a convenience sample. That's not a compliment ordinarily. And what we have in this screen is a tally of all of the observations that were made. So many in each of the values of this category variable of party. And then these are counted, and we get a set of frequencies which add up to the sum of 40. We could also take percentages of these, and then we would call it a relative frequency distribution. So in this case, we have 32%, 45%, 22.5%, which add up to 100. So very same proportions that we had in the frequency distribution, but now we call it a relative frequency distribution. A pie chart cannot be made for a quantitative variable. It can only be made for categorical variables. Notice values of the categorical variable, Republican, other, and Democrat, are in each of these pie slices. So if we transformed numerical data of some kind into categories, then we could make a pie chart, but it is an error to make a pie chart for data that are not actually categorical to begin with. Now we have a bar chart. Sounds like what it means, and it's the very same stuff that's in the pie chart. It's just a different formation. In any case, we can see that in this class, Republicans came out on top just the same as they did in the pie chart. Another thing that I would like for you to notice is that each of these charts has a title. We'll return to that as we go along. Your chart's got to have a title. If it has 2 axes, each of those axes has to be named. In this case, we have the axis for relative frequency and the axis for party. Democrat, Republican, and other are the category values, not the categories themselves. And we are going to look at problems number 20 and 26. In 26, we have the frequency table given already, and our task is going to be to make a pie chart out of it and a bar chart. And in problem number 20, we have to count up the values as well. Back to my desktop, you can see that I have a hard drive and I have the DVD that has the Weiss disc that came with the book. I haven't copied it to the hard drive, so you're going to hear the DVD drive whining now and then. Open that, and one of the folders that I see here is the folder of data sets. This includes all the numbers for all the problems in the textbook. We could get them all ready to roll into various programs, including even the TI calculator. The most versatile is text files, because then we can copy and paste it into almost anything, including StatCrunch, which is the program we're going to use most. So, I drill into Chapter 2, the exercises, and here we have, for every problem in the text that has numbers to it, the stuff that we need to know. 2.20 is our first problem. So, This has all the people who are enrolled in engineering, liberal arts, or business at this college. I'm going to select all of these data using the mouse. I'm going to copy them to the clipboard using Control-C. And now I'm going to the browser to look at StatCrunch. I'm already logged in. You will be able to make your own account. Typically what I do is I go to the My StatCrunch menu. Now, here at the bottom of things to do with my data is an option for pasting stuff into a blank table. That's what I use for working on these exercises. It creates a table that looks like a spreadsheet. It's not a spreadsheet. For one thing, it's not as good at formatting things the way that you're accustomed to moving them around in a spreadsheet. You'll find differences as you go along between this and a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, I'm going to do Control-V to paste the data that I had copied from the file into it. I need to go to the top of this row and put in my category. I mean to say my variable name. Okay. Now, I was asked for two things. One is for a table, and one of our choices here this was under Stat, Tables, Frequency Tables. Okay, what's my variable? I need to tell it. We can see on this table all we have is one variable, but I need to actually click on this thing to tell StatCrunch that that's the variable that I want. And it asks, do you want frequency, relative frequency, all, none of the above? Well, shoot, I'd really like to have both of these in one swoop. Compute, bam, there it is. Okay, it doesn't give us totals, which ordinarily I would like to see here. I would like to see that there are 25 observations. I would like to see that this adds up to 100, but the bottom line is, this is quick and easy, and I like that too. On to the next problem, let's go back and make a pie chart out of this stuff. So, I'm going to graph the same things in a pie chart. This pie chart is based on the actual data. Summary data we'll see in the next problem, but this is the data the actual observations themselves. My column is colleges, and I'm going to just take the defaults as they come and see how it works out. Okay, now let's look at both of these together. We have more people in engineering than in either liberal arts or in business, and our category values and the counts and the relative frequencies that we have are very nicely laid out here for us. So life is good. Let's move on now to the next problem. I'm going to want to make a new table. So I choose new data table on that first menu, and back in my folder I'm going to go to problem number 26. Gonna select everything, copy to the clipboard, go back to StatCrunch and start pasting. Okay, now I've got both the labels and the values already in here. Statistics, I already have my statistics for graph. I can go to the bar plot again. Now this time I have summary data because I'm not having to tally up all of these by myself. Okay, so I say, where are the categories? The categories are the views, and the counts are in frequency. click compute, and here we are. Most of the students categorize themselves as moderate rather than as conservative or liberal. Notice there's a little organization from the lowest to the highest in here too. So let's look at the options on the ascending. Why don't we just put them in the order that they came in? Okay, now our bar chart matches the frequency table that we have here. Since this is categorical data, we can also make a pie chart. We have to choose, look what happens if we choose data instead of summary. So, I want the frequency and the view to be shown here. I click compute, and I get a dandy looking pie chart. But it's all wrong. What it says is that I had conservative once, liberal once, moderate once. Each one of them was good for 1/3 of everything. This doesn't make any sense. The reason why is because I counted these as just things occurring once by themselves without a context. What I need to have is the pie chart with summary data. And now it will ask me which one is the variable and which one has the counts. And now we can make a pie chart that, unlike the first one, actually makes sense for our problem. We don't have exactly even numbers of each of these groups, so I'm gonna wipe out that pie chart and keep this one. And in both of these we see that the moderates outnumber both the liberals and the conservatives. Now the next thing that I'm likely to want to do with information like this is to put it in a report. Here I have a big fat empty Word document. Now, if I just right click here and say copy, and then take that to the Word document and paste it, I get nothing. Or if I go to paste special and choose device independent bitmap, I get only a little tiny part of what I want to get. That isn't right. I'm gonna wipe that out. Here's what I really want to do. I go back to StatCrunch. From this options menu, I choose copy. It says right click this to copy it, and it looks deceptively the same as what I did a moment ago. But it isn't. Notice this menu is longer. I'm going to copy the image, and now back in Word I need to paste special, and the special that I need to paste is device independent bitmap. Whoa, there it is. Looks good, doesn't it? Now if I right click on this in Word, I get format the picture. And if I say line color, that means a line that either does or doesn't show up around the picture. Take the default, and there. That looks pretty good. What this thing is still lacking, though, is a title. So I'm going to go up to a line above this and give it a title. I'm going to select everything and center it because I like things that way. And there we are. Nice work. Okay, so here's the homework for this section. Just a few problems. The thing is, you want to be accustomed to making these calculations both in StatCrunch and by hand with your calculator. So get set. We won't make pie charts by hand. Bar charts, it's easy enough to make by hand, but we're going to have better tools for charts that we make by hand pretty soon. That's the end of 2.2.